Come see us on tour. We're going to be in Baltimore, Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.
Let's turn to a free speech story out of Canada. Here's the headline. Prominent Canadian activist and author arrested for pro-Palestinian activism. And this is Yves Engler. He's an author, an activist, and actually an old friend of mine. Went to high school together. And he's just been arrested in Montreal because he criticized a supporter of Israel's mass murder campaign in Gaza on Twitter. This is the story from Middle East Eye. A Canadian activist and author was arrested by police in Montreal, Canada, for criticizing Israel and accusations of harassment from a pro-Israeli influencer. Yves Engler has been a voracious critic of Israel and the Canadian military complex for over 2 decades. After Montreal police reached out to him about their plans to arrest Engler because of a complaint lodged against him by Zionist influencer Dahlia Kurtz, he took to social media to highlight the issue. While he admitted he had responded to Kurtz's racist, violent, anti-Palestinian posts on X, he said he had not harassed her. I've never met Kurtz, nor have I messaged or emailed her, nor have I threatened her. I don't even follow her on X. After Engler posted about his arrest and the allegations made against him, the Canadian Foreign Policy Institute organized a campaign, and almost 3,200 people wrote the Montreal police asking them to drop charges against Engler. But this appeared to result in further disciplinary charges for Engler. He wrote in another post that the police reached out to him with further charges for harassing the police for writing about the charges leveled against me. And asking him not to speak about his case.
So every level of Canadian society, they're like Zionist 2011 campus feminists. That's incredible. This was Gamergate. Remember they were harassing women and harassing. Like, did somebody say a thing on Twitter? I feel for this guy because I don't subscribe to any of these people. Like, I don't care what Douglas Murray thinks how we should treat Ukraine. And my Twitter will post it up like I need to hear this. And it's real easy to impulsively go, shut up, Douglas Murray, you stupid plastic surgery.
And because he called this pro-Israeli activist a genocide supporter and a fascist, he found himself in prison. And then the police add additional charges against him because they say he's inciting against the police because he announced the initial charges. This is a crazy story. So this was Yves Engler on Thursday, shortly before he was detained, and spent the weekend in jail. This is him right before he was arrested.
Be arrested for social media posts criticizing Israel, and specifically criticizing a genocidaire, Dahlia Kurtz, who wants to see more Palestinian blood spilled. And after I publicized the fact that I was being charged for social media posts criticizing Israel, the police have responded by saying I'm harassing the police. So initially, I'm supposedly harassing a genocidaire for social media posts criticizing Israel. And then when I write about the fact that I'm being charged for criticizing Israel, the police are now saying they feel harassed. And a police investigator has actually brought in 4 different charges of harassment, intimidation, entrave, I guess interference, against me on the grounds that I wrote about the fact that I was being charged for social media posts criticizing Israel. And this is, I think, a pretty flagrant abuse of the state authority on behalf of those promoting Israel's crimes.
That's right.
That's amazing, dude. Especially because it kind of makes me mad every time I'll watch when you see like these like left versus right, like kind of YouTube streams where they try to make it like, oh, they're woke police. Well, then they should be cool with you talking about Israel, shouldn't they? When the Palestine, no, that's where don't talk about our military. Don't talk about what happened in Gaza. That's weird how that crosses both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the right is pretty hypocritical. They talk, accurately that there's been a crackdown on free speech from elements of the left. But when people on the left, like Yves Engler, get literally jailed for their free speech on Palestine, I don't hear much criticism of that coming from the right. J.D. Vance, for example, recently in Germany, when he, called out censorship in Europe, he didn't say anything about the crackdown on pro-Palestine free speech. So that's a huge.
You better not.
Here's more from Yves Engler before he was detained.
Obviously, an attack against freedom of expression, but really what it is a use of the policing and legal system to target someone that opposes the Canadian government's complicity in a genocidal rampage by Israel that's left at least 100,000 people dead, killed in Gaza, destroyed most buildings, destroyed most agricultural land. Even if Israel just stopped tomorrow, people will be dying for years and years because of all the unexploded ordnance, because of all the chemical pollutants, the asbestos, all the other things that they've released into the toxic environment that is Gaza.
So that's Yves Engler. He was speaking on Thursday. He's then spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and most of Monday locked up, couldn't speak to his family. He has a wife and 2 kids. He couldn't speak to his lawyer. Finally, after 5 days basically behind bars, he was released. And this is footage. This is kind of breaking news. He's just been released. And this is
All right, lock him up.
So there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, I mean, this is unprecedented to me. Somebody arrested having to spend days in jail because he criticized an Israel supporter on Twitter and then announced that he was being charged and then faces new charges for allegedly inciting against the police. And this is not just a one-off thing. He's now going to face a trial in April. So
this is bigger. I mean, it's not like bigger than like obviously Gaza genocide, but their system is that messed up that the police could then say you harassed us by pleading your case publicly. That is such an insane precedent. That's AOC's stochastic terrorism she likes to talk about. Like you told the truth about me, and then that led to me losing my job or getting hurt. Oh no.
So that's what Yves Engler is going through in Canada, and this case not over. He will face, if the charges go ahead, unless the charges get dropped, he will face a trial in April.
Dude,
for criticizing somebody on Twitter.
The only good thing, one of the only good things about how vicious America is the lockdowns and this kind of stuff. Like they never were able to disarm America because guess what? If you get sick, you can go die in the street. Nobody cares about you. So no one will ever be that big of a suck up to the government like that unless they have a federal job. All these other, like Australia, they laid right down immediately because they got their wages paid and stuff. So all this like cold indifference, the way they administer it probably has saved us from this level. This is something else where what you told me, not you, but told me Venezuela was like, you can't to the cops because they'll say you're harassing them. And that's all the West now, the whole thing, except the places where they got guns still.
And if you want to support Yves Engler and learn more about his case, go to his website, yvesengler.com. That's YVESENGLER.com. We'll include a link to it. Free Yves Engler.
Come see us on tour. We're going to be in Baltimore, Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.